chicken with grapes, and it's light and delicious and really, really easy. I got the big skillet out, and we're going to do some boneless, skinless chicken breast. Looking to do something a little different from some of the heavy foods, you know, meatloaf and pot roast. It's getting a little heavy, so trying to lighten things up a little bit. So this recipe starts with 3 boneless, skinless chicken breasts that I'm going to put into a plastic bag and just pound them a little bit. When you do that, they're going to cook a lot more quickly and more evenly. Chicken breasts are very, very thick in the middle. So I think we've all had that happen where we went to go cut into a chicken breast and it wasn't cooked all the way through, and oh, that's just such a bummer when that happens, because basically, you know, once you've cooked it, how do you recook it at that point? And it just never turns out the same. So especially when I'm doing things in a skillet and I want them to cook quickly, I love to pound these just a little bit so that they're more even and more thin, and they're going to cook a lot quicker that way. I'm heating up a big skillet. And one of my new big things is, you know me, I love my casseroles and I love my slow cooker dishes. But sometimes you didn't think or didn't have enough time to get the dinner in the slow cooker or make a casserole. So this is a real quick fix if you can do it all in one skillet, and then there's just one dish to wash when you're all done, and I love that. So just want to pound these out a little bit. I'm sorry to be so loud. That's really the only way to do it. And I'm using the flat side of the meat mallet. You don't want to use the other side. That's going to rip it apart, and that's more for tenderizing. So a couple more pounds and we'll get this show on the road. Okay, so now I'm going to take my chicken breasts, 3 to 4, just depends on how many people you're going to be feeding. And I'm going to dredge them, a little olive oil in the skillet. And dredge is a fancy word for basically coat them lightly with flour, a little bit of salt and pepper, or you can just season the flour, whatever is easier. And then I want to get that chicken into the skillet. I don't want it smoking hot, but I do want the pan to be a little bit warm. We're going to get these chicken breasts nice and brown. Book club coming up. All excited about this. Got a local author, and we love to support our local authors. Bea Seidel is her name, and we're reading her book called Orphan Doors. And then we're meeting at La Java in Suamico coming up on Monday, May 13th. So please go get the book. You can actually get the book at La Java. Pick it up ahead of time. It's also available on Amazon and the St. Norbert College bookstore, a couple other places. But anyway, she's going to actually be at the book club meeting to discuss the book, so this is going to be a fun one. So hopefully you'll join us there. Okay. Chicken, it's doing its thing. And you notice how I'm not overcrowding the pan? I really want that chicken to get some nice color. So if you don't have a big enough pan, you may want to do this in batches. And just clean up my flour mess here. Okay. Now, it's chicken and grapes, and it just doesn't get simpler than that. This is a very simple recipe. So I'm just taking some seedless red grapes, but it's just got a lot of flavor. And I'm just cutting them in half. Check on my chicken. It's cooking perfectly. I don't want to get it too hot, but I wanted to get some nice color. So I'm just going to continue to slice up some more grapes. Just cut them in half. All right. How are you today, Miss Ann?
I'm
She said tired. I slept really well last night, actually. Sorry you didn't sleep as well, but I did. So these are gorgeous. This one's ready to flip. That's exactly what we're looking for, some really nice color. This is one of those restaurants that you pay big bucks for, or recipes, I should say, that you pay big bucks for at a restaurant. Save some dough, make it at home, and we're going to make this delicious white wine pan sauce with the grapes. It's just going to be fantastic. Okay. All new shows the rest of the week too, by the way, with some fun different themes. So, and we're always looking for your best recipes. So if you have any great recipes, please go to our website and share, and like us on, and friend us on Facebook too. We post on there all the time. Okay, chicken's looking like it's ready to flip. Just going to get some color on this side. Now, this dish goes really well with like a rice pilaf or some sort of a wild rice. Like I say, just something a little bit lighter for spring. So this just happens to be a box mix. Asparagus is wonderful this time of year, sticking with that whole spring thing. So we're going to do this with asparagus as a side. And this is actually kind of a nice, fancier dinner that is so easy to make that you wouldn't even, you know, nobody needs to know how easy it is. So sometimes it's nice to do a special dinner on a Sunday or a Saturday night, do a date night, or just really surprise everybody and your family and do something, you know, a little different like this. And again, boxed rice and steamed up some asparagus. Okay, now at this point I want to get the chicken out of the pan and covered with foil so that it'll stay nice and warm, and I can use all that great stuff on the bottom, those wonderful brown bits, and make a wonderful sauce. So I'm going to take some chicken stock, and that's called deglazing the pan. Dry white wine. I'm using like a Chardonnay or a Pinot Grigio. But if you like a little bit sweeter, even a Riesling would actually work for this recipe if you like the dish, want the dish to be a little bit sweeter. So you're going to get these great little brown bits at the bottom, and that is good. That is all good flavor. Then our grapes go in. And a really wonderful flavor that I happen to love is tarragon, dry tarragon. Now this isn't going to be a real thick gravy. We're going to keep it pretty thin. Again, we're keeping things really nice and light. So you see how that sauce is just starting to reduce down a little bit. That's what we want. Now at this point, and the flour from the chicken breasts that we coated that in will make that kind of, you see how that's just kind of coating the spoon, but it's not a real thick gravy. We're keeping it pretty light. So the last thing we're going to do is take some real cold butter that I just took out of the refrigerator, and we're going to do about a tablespoon or two of butter at the very end. This is something that you'll see in a lot of French dishes, and I'm going to remove that from the heat so that the butter doesn't break, and this is just going to thicken up that sauce a little bit and make it even that much more wonderful. You could certainly not do the butter thing if you wanted to keep it even lighter. You could use a little less butter, but you see how now that sauce, which was more of just, you know, a real thin juice, is just that little bit of butter at the very end is going to richen it up. And I've learned that tip from my chef friends. I learned so much from them. So you see how now that's even a little bit thicker, but it's still not like a thick gravy. So it's going to be wonderful. It's silky, exactly. Good term. Good adjective, Ann. So we've got our chicken breasts here. And this show started 12 minutes ago. So it took us 12 minutes to do this. You can do this. Anybody can do this. My recipes are so simple, so easy. So we've got a gorgeous chicken breast here that we'll just lay alongside our wild rice. Take some of the sauce with the grapes. And I think even the kids will like this. I mean, kids love grapes. They love chicken. And just take a little of that sauce and the grapes. Yeah, yum is right. And you'd pay 20 bucks or more for this out at a restaurant. Save some dough, make it at home. If you want, this is just an added little fancy thing. You could certainly garnish with a little bit of fresh tarragon, being that we use the dry tarragon in there. But if I were doing this at home for my family, I'd probably serve it without, just because I didn't have the fresh tarragon on hand. But there you go, chicken with grapes, a nice light dish for spring. Recipes on the website. You can also pick it up at any area Festival Foods.